And welcome to the first home game, of the Dallas Legion hosting the Houston Havoc on this bright and shiny Saturday afternoon in Jesuit College Preparatory School in Dallas, Texas. Finally in Dallas. This is Paul Burt alongside Leith McMillan to call the game for you today. And DeGiorgio with the disc right now.
Yeah, looking good. Great shot there, Kevin.
Looking dump.
That looks great.
Husted walking to set the disc up while fielding the offense. And a quick diving D on the mark from Zara.
We're going to your shots, going to your angle, Mike.
Zara picking it up. Finding Lynn on the far side.
We're on you, Mike.
Then continuing it up to Dixon. Dixon on the give and go. Has it in the center. Looks deep. Has a receiver. DeLuna in pursuit. But brought down by Jordan Salazar for the goal. Double team. Far sideline from the Havoc. Dump off to Husted. Still towards that sideline. Husted inside out break. Finds Miller in the center. Miller pitches up to Wallace. Wallace putting the long ball. Finds Wunsch for the goal.
That's a great pass. Yeah, Wallace looked up the field. He saw there were way too many Havoc jerseys around him. Somebody's got to be open. And that was just a nice little toss and finally on the board.
Shelley with the disc again near sideline. Kicks it into the center. Disc coming across. All the way over to Cotter. Takes his dump. And a big deep look. Sky over the top from Francisco Gomez. Two defenders in the area. Another goal for Houston.
That was a defiant catch, as they call it. Two guys just jumped up right in between both of them. It looked like it was going to be a Legion D, but he got a great read on that. Great hand on the disc.
And Miles Cooper from Dallas Legion looked like he had a very finding Roberts. Roberts looking deep. Sees Husted. Floaty disc. Tipped and D'd from Connor Ugetta from the Houston Havoc.
One handler, D and another. And you won't expect it to see in the end.
Double team coming in from the Havoc. Dump back to Husted. Finds Wallace on the cross. Wallace looking deep again. Finds DeGiorgio for the goal.
Another big, great throw. He saw that cut form and just hit the exact right disc where he needed to. That was great. They've scored a couple times in that exact same corner.
Again. Looking across. Finds Adam. Apologies. Up to Salazar is going to take a deep shot, far sideline. Several receivers in the area. At the buzzer, Dan Emmons coming down with the D. Swings back to Robertson center. Roberts continuation. Looking to find Bololo, but a quick kicks to the nearest sideline. Finding Adams. Back to Baldoff. Finally using the full width. Quick inside out dish. Finding the goal. Brendan Adams for it. Months leading into the season, or has this been years in the making, so to speak?
It's been talked about for a while, so I suppose in some ways it's been years in the making, but the team was meant to launch in 2024, and it got accelerated when one team dropped, the Tampa Bay team. So we went from a 15-month timeline to a 3-month timeline. So it's been a little bit of a wild ride in that way, but thankfully we've got a good partnership with the Houston SaberCats. That's the rugby team, so we share some infrastructure with them, and that helped us launch in an accelerated way, which has really been huge.
Finds Wallace, far sideline. Kicks across, looking for Wunsch. Saved by Roberts after the missed initial throw. Roberts kicking across to Husted, near side. Hammer over the top. Finding Wallace for the goal. Husted kicking it up, but a layout block from Bryant on the Havoc. Houston 5 yards from the goal. Looking to score instantly, but a dish back. Get it in the dump space. Coming under. Baldoff with it. Blade into the center. Finding Dane Bossert for the goal. By Wallace in the center, and a double team coming out from the Havoc to start in a loose zone scenario. Roberts with it on the sideline. Kicks it up to Miller. Quick dish and give and go to Emmons. He hits Miller in the center, only about 30 yards out. Takes a shot, sees DeLuna going for it. And outrun and outbid by Lewis. As time looks to have expired. Oh, apologies. There are still 4 seconds left in the half for the Havoc to possibly capitalize.
Did they sneak in a timeout there, or?
Take it from the center for Dallas. Finds Wallace on the cross. Just past him, but will sit in the wind. Wallace taking the away shot. Sees DiGiorgio for the goal.
And that was just great eyes by the receiver. You could tell he was watching for the exact moment that Wallace caught that disc, and then he just planted and went, and his defender was not ready for it.
And definitely not. Looking dump, finds Zara. Continuing over to Bennett. Inside out break to Salazar. Looks inside out the other way. Finding Elliot Sakash for the goal. Back to Wunsch. Cross to Husted. All the way across to Roberts' far sideline. Husted through the center. Has a deep look. Sends it long. Bololo trying to toe the line. Called in bounds by the sideline ref, and that'll be a goal.
Wow, from my perspective, I thought that throw is too big and too high, but the way he got his toe down, I was pretty sure he'd caught it in too.
I mean, Bololo known for his leaping ability, as well as his stage presence, high-fiving the crowd after that goal. Impressive athleticism on display. And a quick initiation from Bennett on the give goes. Gets the disc to Shelley, far sideline, to start things off for the Havoc. Shelley taking a shot, sees Lewis. Bidding and coming down with it for another goal for the Houston Havoc.
Lewis having quite a game here. He's done a lot for this team so far. Being guarded by a former A&M team.
Has Emmons on the under, but minor contact. Emmons putting it deep. Sees Buckingham tipped and D'd by Elliot Sakash. Buckingham not quite able to come up with it after the bounce.
Almost a second effort.
Lewis leading Lynn upfield. Poach from Husted, not making the contact. Lynn comes down with it. Big cross, sees Shelley. And a big D from Alex Welsinger.
You could tell Welkener knew it has to be me. I have to be the one to make this play. He just put his head down.
Lewis looking down, finding Zara on the pitch up. 5 yards out. Quick dish from Zara. DiGiorgio bidding, but to no avail. And a score for the Houston Havoc, finding Zach Cotter in the goal after his D.
Another standstill score, but you could tell DiGiorgio was much, much closer and closing in on that. I think he knew that he was giving his guy.
And welcome back to the fourth quarter of the Dallas Legion hosting the Houston Havoc. Dallas to receive the disc. Roberts immediately looking deep, finding Huston in the deep space. Match up with Ugetta. Ugetta coming down with the D on that one. Ugetta to pick up for Houston. And a quick pitch over, looking for Martin Cruz, but a D. And a quick pass from Husted. Scuber finds Wunsch for the goal.
A lefty Scuber, if I'm not mistaken.
Just the hand that it...
Be experimenting a lot with matchups and even who's on the line.
Ra kicks up, finding Land on the under. Immediately look dump, sees Bennett, enough float for Bennett to come up with it. Bennett directing traffic, will not be out-scubered, finds Land in the goal for the Havoc.
You saw the point from Matt Bennett to a guy that he's played with in college and club many, many years. That's something that they've done 100 times, if not more.
Matt Bennett, per usual, attempting to set score almost immediately. Dumps back otherwise. Back to Emmons in the middle. Emmons on the give and go. Near the goal. Attempting to sneak one in. But a poached D Havoc, Shelley near sideline. Has Lewis going deep with space. A big inside-out forehand. Lewis just waiting for that one to come into his hands for a goal.
Yeah, he had two defenders kind of in the area, but just way, way far ahead of him. One of those defenders being Dan Emmons. So if he had underthrown that, let it float, definitely would not have worked out. But
time for the gainer. Houston in a very loose zone look. Back to Miller. Up to Husted. Wallace to Husted. Sideline. Pivots and takes a shot deep. Seeing DeGiorgio for another goal.
That's just a great throw. I mean, DeGiorgio had all the space in the world. He's just got to have a sharp throw that can get through that wall of...
And Shelley coming on power position. Hammer over the top. Hitting Elliot Saycash for the goal. 2.5 seconds left in the game.
That might be a throw that players are just... That is a tough, tough spot to pick up.
Almost no angle to dump to. Miller finds Husted, who will put up a shot with no time left. Caught by Wallace about midfield, but not for the goal. So that will take us to the conclusion of this matchup between the Dallas Legion and the Houston Havoc. Houston Havoc winning it 28 to Dallas Legion 17. We will be back with more Dallas Legion coverage